Hello? So, I am an NTP, INTP. If you're not familiar with the Myers-Briggs system, INTP stands for introverted, intuitive thinking, perceiving. In plain English, I live inside my own head. I rather sit with a weird idea for 3 hours than making a small talk for 3 minutes. I questions everything, not to be difficult, but because why it working this way is basically my default settings. INTPs are sometimes called the logician, and honestly that fits. I care more about whether an idea is internally consistent than whenever it's popular. I value independence, I think before I speak, and I genuinely struggle with decisions that are driven by emotions rather than logic, mine or anyone else. Now here's where it gets interesting. I grew up in Malay. Comparing me to Malaysia and Malaysian culture, broadly speaking, is almost the opposite of everything I just described. Malaysia is what researchers would call highly collectivist society. That means the group of your family, your community, your circle usually comes before the individual. Harmony matters. Saving face matters. You don't think just about what's true. You think about what keeps the peace. There's also a strong respect for hierarchy here. Elders, authority figures, seniority at work. You don't casually challenge that the way an INTP's brains want to challenge literally everything. And socially, Malaysians tend to be warm, welcoming, relationship first people. Think open houses during festive seasons where neighbors and strangers alike get invited for food. That's a very we culture. I'm very much let me think about this person. So you can probably already see the tensions where Malaysian culture leans toward emotional harmony, I lean toward logical consistency. Where the culture says don't rock the boat, my brain says, but what if the boat design is flawed? Where people around me building relationships through small talk and shared meals, I'm quietly turning the conversation in my head, looking for the actual idea buried in it. But it's not only a pure conflict, there's overlap too. Malaysian culture, despite hereditary, actually scored relatively low on something called uncertainty avoidance, meaning people here are fairly relaxed and adaptable when plans change. That flexibility matches something INTPs values a lot. We have rigid rules for their own sake, and we're comfortable improvising once we understand the underlying logic of a situation. I think that really the honest way to describe it. I'm not cultural typical, and that's fine. No single personality type represent an entire country of 30 something million people anyway. What I've landed on is a kind of hybrid. I keep the Malaysian instinct for respect and quiet consideration for others, but I run it through an INTP filter, and I want to understand why before I go along with anything. And weirdly, I think that combination works. The culture keeps people in the ground, and the personality keep me grounded in the truth. So that's me, an analytical mind raised in a heart-led culture, still figuring it out how to fit together.